Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance, episode 13 of Guess the Trades. But as always, let's jump backwards into episode 12. What did those three do with their tools and their line of work? And we looked at three different bags, and I'm going to try to make it to where you can see the bags. And then I'm going to talk about the comment as well. And hopefully, that this Saturday will be the last Saturday where I'm working. I've been doing a job where I've been working on the weekends to help out in a space that's occupied to make it easier on myself. So hopefully I'll be back able to on Saturdays to be part of that live chat with my computer and things like that to make it easier. So we looked at three different people in the last episode. The first one that we looked at was Darren Brooks. He had this Milwaukee structured tool bag, and you can see some of the tools that he had here. What was it that he did with those tools? Well, he said that he is a maintenance tech on a remote camp, or like a camp that's somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, basically. And I think the big discussion that we had back and forth with a lot of people was what was it that he did with that torch? A lot of people had a lot of funny comments alongside with that. But he said he basically uses that to light water heaters and furnaces and things like that. So he works out in the middle of nowhere, takes care of an entire camp. So that's what he did with his tools. The second person that we looked at was Ryan Dilworth. He had a tough built tote, as you can see here, with a couple different pouches and some different tools that he used alongside with those as far as to get his work done. So what was it that he did with those tools? He said that he is a facilities manager for a family run business that has, several different buildings and things like that. He said he's geared more towards the residential side of things, but that's what he does with his tough built tote and pouches. And then the last person that we looked at was PTS Touring, who has a Vito TP6B with some really nice PB Swiss and Canipix tools and different tools inside of there. But what is it that he did with those tools? He said that he is a DIYer and also a tool collector, but he uses that bag just for general tasks and things like that. So that's what all three of those did with their tools. Hopefully you did well on the guesses. There was a lot of interesting guesses, a lot of funny comments and things like that. So I always appreciate everybody that spends the time. I appreciate the people who send in the pictures, also that take the time to comment what it is they do with them and answer questions. But I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to guess as well. I just think it makes it a fun game. So we got three more that we're going to look at today. So we've got a Milwaukee Pack Out backpack, another tough built tote, and then a velocity bag. So that's one that I don't know that we've looked at very many of those. But the three we're going to look at today are B. McAlpin, Dan Begin, and then also Ben Park. So those are the three loadouts we're going to look at today. We're going to try to figure out what it is that they do with their tools and their bags. What do they do with in their line of work or whatever it might be that they do with these? And the first one that we're going to look at is B. McAlpin. And if you look at his name there, it says Sergeant McAlpin. So that might gear you towards something that might be part of your guess as well. Again, he's got a tough built tote, and we're going to take a look at see what he has and take a look at his tools. So let's go ahead and jump into those. So again, looking at his first picture here, he has that tough built tote, two different tape measures, tough built 16 foot, and then also a Husky. And it looks like to me that he has marked out the white and made it blue. I guess so that's so that he knows that those are his, because I was actually thinking the tough built one was supposed to be that way or something because it looked like it was so perfect. But then I know for a fact the Huskies don't look like that. So he's got two tape measures, also a pencil pull, some zip ties on the outside. Looking down inside of this tote, he's got several different cases. He's got a DeWalt drill bit case, DeWalt bit driver case, a Bosch case of some kind, a laser distance measure, it looks like, also a S-wing hammer, several different tools. He's got these pulled out here in just a little bit, so we'll wait and look at them there. And again, here's just another look with maybe the cases, the bit cases and things missing. So there's some of his tools. So it looks like this tote is more of just a big empty space in the middle, and then also has some pockets around the outside edge of it for hand tools and things like that. So here's some more tools pulled out of the middle, those Makitas pulled out, and you can see some Bosch tools, and then also it looks like a speed square down in there, tough built knife, Impact 11-1, several pliers over here on the left side. So you can see a little bit more of how this bag is set up based on looking at this picture here. Now we get into this. There's his impacts and drills that he uses. So he uses the Bosch brushless impact over here, GDR 18 volt, and then also the GD or GSB 18 volt, the drill. I don't think I've seen either one of those. But I haven't bought. I used to run strictly Bosch. It used to be all I ran, and then they just got to where they just didn't carry any. And any of my Lowe's, Home Depot, none of those carry them. And I just got tired of trying to find the tools. Makita is a brand in which I've not even ever really tried. but everybody talks pretty highly on those. But he also has a Makita impact and drill as well. Going to the next picture, here's some of the hand tools. So he's got a Bosch light over here that takes the Bosch 18-volt batteries. Also, he's got more, again, a couple different tape measures, a 16-foot Husky 25 and then a 16 tough built. And again, he's marked them out blue. Also has this Braun light here. Seen several people. There's all kinds of that kind of a light of different brands and things like that. So a bunch of people use those. I actually honestly haven't even picked up one of those yet, like that style of light. But if anybody's got one of those, let me know if you find it more useful than just smaller lights, because they have so many different variations of LED lights out these days that you can pretty much have your pick. He's got a Lennox folding jab saw, also a Hyde 5-in-1, a scraper, a knife, putty knife thing there, Cobalt utility knife, a Lennox like 11-in-1 type screwdriver, and then the Klein Impact 11-in-1 as well. Again, one of my favorite Impact 11, or that Impact 11-in-1 is my favorite 11-in-1 so far. Also has a little Cobalt cutter here. I think those are Klein flush cuts. I've got a pair of those as well. He's got a pair of Klein strippers. Also looks like here a pair of slip joint pliers, probably the Dull brand, or if I had to guess, because it looks like the same handles as those Dulls next to it, which are basically Dull's version of the Knipex Cobras. And then he's got several pairs of needle nose pliers right there, Craftsman. The yellow handle might be Klein, and then I'm not sure what the black ones are. So there's some of his hand tools that are down in that bag. Here's his bit cases and hammer. So I'm pretty sure that that's a S-wing hammer there, because I actually have that same exact one. And then starting up here at the top, he's got a chalk box. Also has a Cobalt multimeter. Here's his marking utensils. So he's got a Pika style pencil of a certain brand, Lowe's Sharpie, several Carpenter pencils, one on the pencil pull there, 7 1/4 speed square or 7-inch speed square. Tough built knife. That's that knife that I picked up on clearance with a pry bar tool. And then he's got several razor blades there. So he also uses masonry bits. So he's got several masonry bits there to go in a drill. Also regular drill bits or the point drill bits. And then there's his DeWalt bit case as well. And again, his S-wing hammer and then his zip ties. And that's the final picture as far as his tools, because there's his name there. So take one last look at these tools. Take a look at that one. Also there on his hand tools, and then there's his power tools. So he takes this tough built tote. It's his grab bag. It's got everything he's going to need in it. It's got his power tools. It's got a couple different impacts, a couple different drill drivers. He's got a flashlight, several hand tools, pretty much to get just about anything done. He did tell me what he does, so I'm not going to guess with this. But I see a lot of capabilities for just general task work. So again, comment down below what it is you think he does. I'm interested in that Braun light. I'm not necessarily worried about the Braun light of that kind, but I see several of those lights. More so, I've seen a lot of mechanics in their videos using those, and wondering if that's something that you guys just have used. I've seen several people having in their bags. It was kind of the LED work light whenever they first were coming out, like everybody had to have one, but now there's so many different lights that you can get. I've got a lot of O-lights, Woobins, all those things that are small, compact, that just light up the space. My M12 Rover light I use all the time. I think to me that's what I would use that for, is what I use my M12 Rover light for. But I'm interested. Maybe I'm missing something on that. I've never picked one of those up. I'm just interested if I'm missing something. So if you've got one of those, let me know how much you use it, what you use it for. But if you've got any other questions about his tools, drop that down below. And then also guess what it is that you think B. McAlpin or Sergeant McAlpin does with these tools in his line of work. But now let's get into loadout number 2, which is Dan Begin. He's got a Milwaukee Pack-Out backpack, and then also some Pack-Out, an accessory down below. And again, I haven't looked in it. I haven't looked at the pictures to see what they are. But let's jump into his tools and see if we can figure out what he does. So here's the outside of his bag. Again, he's got a Pack-Out backpack along with a slim profile single organizer on the bottom, tape measure. Looks like probably like a either WD-40, PB Blaster, or something like that over there on that side. Again, we look, there's the inside of his case. So he's got a lot of different wire nuts, some wall anchors, some wood screws, drywall screws, also the push-in connectors. I don't really like those personally. I used to use them, but I I don't use them. It isn't because I don't like using them, but it's whenever I get into other people's work, I find wires pulled out of those all the time. Neutrals, whenever I go in and I find a neutral, I've lost a neutral, I've got an open neutral. 9 times out of 10, I go into a box and I find that connector with a white wire pushed out of it. So I don't know that it's those things are bad or if it's the person using it isn't pushing it in enough or not doing something right or whatever it is. I haven't never went back on any of mine that I put in any of those things, but I just don't use them because of what I've seen inside boxes. That's made me kind of pull away from it. I am still using the lever Wagos, and I haven't seen any of those. But I haven't seen any of those. I haven't went in and done work anywhere behind somebody else where they've used those to know if I have the same situation coming up with those. But let me know in the comments below what your experience is with those push-in Wago style, not the lever kind, but the push-in kind. Let me know what you think about that. But again, he's got those in there, and then we get over here to this side, and he's got these tools out, but he's got the Holta Force pencil. Also has a Klein precision screwdriver, some ink saws, some different things inside there. Looks like the 8-in-1 stubby. So he's got a good tool selection in there. We get into this. He's got some Milwaukee drivers, some Klein drivers as well, the M12 Surge. So he rigid one stop, several Knipex pliers there, a pair of scissors. It was PB Blaster in the side of his bag. I thought that yellow top was PB Blaster, but I wasn't real sure. So let's go into his tools spread out. So again, he's got the rigid one stop up here. He's got 3 pairs of Knipex Cobras in different sizes. Looks like probably 10-inch, 7 1/4, and then also 12-inch. He's got some vice grip pliers, some Milwaukee snips, also a hacksaw blade type knife as well, or saw as well that takes hacksaw blades. He's got 2 blue pry bars. I want to say, oh, what's the brand name on the blue ones? It starts with a D. I can't remember what the brand is on that. DeWalt chisels, also a Milwaukee demo driver, a 16-ounce DeWalt hammer. Also has a Klein multimeter over here, along with Milwaukee drill bits, driver bits, a regular bit rail. So he's got a lot of the same tools as me. Milwaukee Surge, Klein GFCI detector. My Milwaukee Surge, as far as to talk about that Surge, in one video I talked about how it kicked the dust. I've sent it in for warranty. I have got it back. I'm probably going to make just a small video on my experience with the warranty process, but they did end up repairing that for me, so I do have that back now. But getting back into this, he's got a Milwaukee small level, Knipex cobalt cutters, also some Milwaukee strippers, a small, probably Klein or DeWalt. I'm not sure what that is on the, actually, I guess it might be DeWalt because I think Klein's has an orange plastic on their crescent wrenches. So, yeah, right here's a bigger one that definitely says DeWalt on that. He's got the orange gloves. I'm interested, Dan, if this is the orange spider gloves, because I've normally always used the black spider gloves. I pick them up at Lowe's. I really like the thickness of them, but now they have an orange pair that has almost like a texture on them, and it's really good for gripping and things. So I'm curious what brand of orange gloves you've got and what your experience with them. But those orange spider gloves are really good, but I've got so many black ones where I bought them in bulk so many times that it's going to take me a while to run through them, but I really want to switch over to the orange ones. So if you haven't tried out the orange spider gloves, I think they're like $1 more than the black ones, but I think personally they're worth it. You might want to check those out. Also has a torpedo level, some Milwaukee scissors, Klein non-contact voltage tester, small, looks like maybe a Milwaukee light. I don't know that I've seen that one. Klein insulated flip blade, and then again the ratcheting 11-in-1 impact, Milwaukee safety glasses, a couple different putty knives, and then again Phillips and slotted Milwaukee screwdriver. So there's those tools. Here's some more things that he carries in his bag. I think this was the ones that were in that front compartment. So all these tools are right here, and then the last tools that we're going to look at are the ones that are up in this section right here that you can see. So we get into this. He's got an infrared thermometer, looks like a Bosch laser distance measure, garbage disposal wrench, also a magnet pickup tool, Danco punch. I think maybe that's the brand of that blue chisels or the blue pry bars back there. Is it Danco? I think that might be right. A nail set. He's also got, looks like probably the Klein flip socket, maybe. I'm not sure if that's the flip socket or not. That might be something else. He's got a wrench here, can't tell what the sizes are on that. Also has looks like a reamer, pipe reamer, also some silicone grease, some pipe dope inside of a tube like that. That's how I carry mine too, because I don't use it that often. Also, the looks like Klein needle nose, Milwaukee flush cuts, the 8-in-1 with the flip socket bit inside of it. So he's got the super stubby going on right there. Klein thermostat screwdriver, blue ink saw, black ink saw, blue ink pen. Looks like an ink pen possibly there too. Also the Hultaforce pencil, microfiber cloths. I carry them all the time. Some wire brushes, and then some zip ties. And I think that's now he's got one more picture. For whatever reason, these weren't, maybe I probably should have had these at the beginning, but here's the back side of his backpack. He's also got some Teflon tape, some black electrical tape. And so again, this will just give you an idea of how this backpack works in case you've been looking for a Milwaukee backpack. And then here it is. Again, he's got it sitting on top of an organizer. That to me is the benefit of going with pack out over Vito or something. If you run a lot of pack out, then that might be the case. But then again, he's also got that, again, 16-foot tape measure and PB blaster there in that side. And that's the last picture. So again, take a look at his pack out bag. Take a look at this set of tools here. That's basically his marking equipment and just cleaning, just general type stuff. And then here's the bulk of his tools right there. Take another look at that one, see what you think. And then again, guess down below what you think Dan does with these set of tools. I know, again, with this one, I know the first one and I know his, so I'm not going to guess on these. But again, a lot of different tools for a lot of different things. That ought to gear you maybe towards something, but see if you can specifically guess maybe what area of that field that he is working in as well. I'm interested in your orange gloves, what brand those are, how well you like them. Let me know that in the comments below. But if you got any other questions for him, make sure and drop that down below. And then also put your guess as far as what do you think Dan does with his tools. And now let's get into that last loadout, which is Ben Parks. He's got a velocity bag. I don't know if we've looked at a velocity bag yet or not. Maybe we have had one. I can't remember. But let's check out his bag and see if we can guess what he does with his tools. So again, looking at the outside, we have this velocity bag. It's basically like the Vito for overseas. I've never seen one in person. I've seen several videos on them online. So take a look at the outside of his bag here. And he's got his tools pulled out as well, so we won't spend a lot of time looking at them. This is more of just look at his setup type thing in case you're interested in this bag. Open up the inside, lots of insulated tools. He's got Vera screwdrivers, Knipex, pliers of different ones. The Pocket Max from Weehaw. He's also got that, what's it called, the Ergo strip, I think, from Knipex up there. Several different Knipex pliers down there in the bottom as well. Different strippers, different pipe cutters, it looks like. So take a look at that. His pouch up here in the front looks pretty full as well. So it looks very similar to a Vito bag, in my opinion. You know, whenever you just open that up, if I didn't know it, I would be saying that this was a Vito bag. Now here is the tools that are in this section right here, I believe. Yeah, so he's got it separated that way. So a 5-meter magnetic tape measure. He's also got some tracer pencils over here. Tough built knife. I don't know for sure. That might be the one that's also the scraper that turns into the scraper, and then also a utility knife. Knipex pipe cutter. Also has a Milwaukee fastback. Vera insulated screwdrivers. Those look like, to me, those are maybe a special set. I don't know if the color wise, I don't know if that's maybe the diamond tip or something like that. I'm not real sure. Or maybe it was just a set like that was there at one time they had a USA set and a Canada set and a whatever set. So I'm interested in your of the color of those Veras. Do they signify something besides insulated, since they're not yellow and red, but they're kind of like a white and red? What are those for? We'll continue in. He's got Knipex flush cuts. Also has here a pair of cutters of some kind, some brand. I'm not sure. It looks like, I can't really read that. They look a lot like a pair of Bacos that I have, but it's not Baco. Mine are orange handles. Knipex diagonals there are with looks like it's got a couple holes for strippers in there as well. Knipex needle nose, and then also the installation pliers, but they are metric. And then also a pair of Lyman style or combination pliers. I don't know if they're big enough to be Lyman. They look like combination pliers. He's got the Knipex. Again, I think it's called Ergo Strip. I'm not real sure. Also a Knipex knife on a tether. He's got the Vessel ratcheting screwdriver along with the Weehaw Pocket Max. And then he's got the Rekka Knipex Cobras with the quick set, and then also the green handle. I've been looking for these green handles. Matco also sells some in the green handle. Man, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to get them, but I really want some, again, just to differentiate between my pliers wrench and my Cobras or whatever, in case I put them, because usually in my pouches I put them with the heads down to where I can see the handles. In my tool bags, I kind of do it the way that he's got his Knipex, just so I can see what the tools are. But man, I want some of those green handles so bad, but they're just impossible to get. I can get them. I can get the same ones that he's got here, but I got to pay an arm and a leg to ship them here, and I just can't see myself doing it. But would be nice to have those. He also has, again, Knipex pliers wrench 180, and then also a Cobra 180. And then that looks like that's probably the Baco adjustable wrench, or it's something like it. It looks like the Baco. And then also he's got a Lobster adjustable wrench as well. So that's two different series. The last series we had a Lobster in PTS Touring's bag, and now we've also got one here in Ben Parks as well. And then he's got some Vera Jokers, and then or ratcheting wrenches. I'm not, again, that one is anyways. These up here at the top are some other brand. He also has a pair of strippers over here. I'm not sure the brand on those. I've looked at the Knipex of that kind as well. You basically run your cable through it, and you can strip it, the sheathing off, and then also strip the cables. Looks like the Klein Tools folding jab saw. He also has some ball handle hex keys over there as well. And I think that's it on this picture. So there's the tools that are in that section of the bag. Here's the other part of his bag. It looks like he's got a hacksaw, a fluke meter, also an M12 impact as well, along with some other Knipex tools. So again, there's I guess the back side of this backpack, if you want to take a look at the setup on that. And then now let's go ahead and go look at the tools. Let me see if I can go ahead and get these rotated. Maybe I can real fast. All right, so now that we got these rotated, again, he's got some bit holders up here. Looks like little different hole saws, and then also drill bits, nut drivers. Here's some different bits right there that he carries. Again, uses it in an M12 impact. He's got a Vera wrap adapter, or whatever it is that they call those there. Fluke 324, fantastic meter, does everything that I need it to anyways. I've really enjoyed that one. Two different hacksaws, a hammer, also a pair of snips, a file, tool here that looks like it's got a couple different sizes for a ratchet, and then also like a big pry bar there. That looks like that's some sort of a specialty type tool. A VFS Megger as far as a non-contact voltage tester. Also, that looks like a Knipex something or other there. I think I've seen that before. I'm not sure what the blue and red thing is there. Small Stabila pocket level, fluke tester as well for receptacles. And then also he's got a Tool Check Plus with Imperial, or with metric. I think that there is a Vera magnetizer, demagnetizer, but I could be wrong, but I think I've seen that before as well. And then he also has a Vera bit holder up here. So there's some more of his tools. I think that's the last picture there. Yeah, it changed that over. So there's one side of his bag. Take a look at that. That's part of Ben's bag. And if we go over to this one, that's the other tools and the other part of his Velocity bag. So take a last look at those as well. And then guess down below what it is you think Ben does with these tools. I'm interested in what he thinks about the Velocity bag, or if any of you guys have had a Velocity bag and a Vito bag. Are they very similar? Or, I mean, I know I can't really get a Velocity bag without paying shipping. It's kind of the same for us as it is probably for several of you to get a Vito bag. You've got to get it shipped over to you. I'm just interested because I've never seen one in person. Is it kind of comparable to a Vito bag? Just drop that down in the comments below if you've owned both, what you think about that. But then also, if you've got any questions for Ben, make sure and ask that, or make sure you guess down below what it is you think he does with these tools. So I saw several things that were kind of geared towards electrical and also some plumbing stuff. A lot of different, like it seems like to me he does piping and then also electrical work for sure with all his insulated tools. So I would guess electrician, and I would think that his piping tools are geared towards piping for an electrician. But that's just my guess. Again, he's the only one that didn't tell me what he did in his line of work, so I'm in the dark on that. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think about all three of these. What do you think that B. McAlpin, Dan Begin, and then also Ben Parks do with their tools? Make sure and drop that in the comments below. Ask the questions that you need to. I always appreciate each and every one of you spending the time to comment down below. Hope this video was helpful. Hope it's useful. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. We'll see you on episode 14.